So for instance, here's problem number one. I'm going to give you one of these functions as the following. F of x is equal to x plus 8, so that's like equation form. And then we have another function. This is a totally separate function. It's unrelated to this. And this function is given in a table of inputs and output values. And so the question is, which of these functions has the highest or the greatest rate of change? There's no way that you can just figure this out by just looking at it. You have to do something concrete. What we need to do is pull out the slope out of both of them and compare and see what slope is greater, because the greater slope is going to be the greater rate of change, which means the steeper the line. That's what we're trying to figure out. Now, when we look at this one, this is very simple because the slope, you can just read it right out of the equation. It's mx plus b, and m in this case is the kind of the invisible coefficient of 1. So the slope of that function there is just 1. So that's very simple. But for this one, we actually have to do some work to calculate the slope. All right, so the slope I'm going to calculate here at the bottom. Now, we only need 2 points for the slope. I'm going to choose these 2 points because it has smaller numbers, and you can calculate the slope as we've done many times before. 11 minus 9 divided by, we go this way, so 3 minus 2. And 11 minus 9 is 2, and on the bottom we get a 1, and so the slope here is 2. All right? So if we have one function with a slope of 1 and another totally separate function with a slope of 2, then which one has the higher rate of change? It would be this one, the one that has the larger slope. So instead of writing down a bunch of words, I'm just going to circle this one and say, okay, this one has the greatest or the higher rate of change. In every one of these problems, whichever one I circle is going to be the one with the greatest slope or the highest rate of change. All right, problem number 2. We have a function here, mx plus b form, and we have another function in a table. What's the slope of this guy right here? It's mx plus b. The slope in this case is 4. What's the slope down here? We have to calculate the slope, and we can use any 2 points in the table we wish. I'm going to choose these smaller 2 numbers, so 75 minus 70. We subtract the output or the y values, and then going the same direction, 25 minus 20. And so what we get here is a 5 on the top and a 5 on the bottom. And so let me just double check myself before I go any farther. Because, I make mistakes all the time, so I just want to make sure that there's no problems. The slope that we get right here is indeed 1. That's correct. So which one has the larger or the highest rate of change? The slope of this is 1, and the slope of this is 4. This one has the higher rate of change. We're always going to be circling the function that has the higher rate of change, and that is it. All right. Let's take a look at problem number 3. So what is the slope of the equation here? Mx plus b, the slope here is, in this case, negative 5, right here, which means this guy slants in the down direction. And what is the slope over here? So I'm going to choose these numbers down here. I'm going to go 5 minus 1, that's the output, 5 minus 1. I have to go the same direction, negative 2 minus 0. 5 minus 1 is 4, and then negative 2 minus 0 is negative 2. So the slope is actually negative 2. So which one's bigger, negative 5 or negative 2? I know you might be tempted to say this one because there's a bigger number, but if you remember your number line, right? If this is 0, then over here is negative 2, and somewhere way over here is negative 5. Which one's bigger? Actually, negative 2 is bigger. Negative 2 is bigger, so that has the larger rate of change. So in this case, this one is the highest rate of change of these 2 functions, the one in the table. All right, so that's the final answer there. All right, and believe it or not, this is our very last problem. What is the rate of change of this function, mx plus b? The rate of change, or the slope, is 1/3, right? And then we have to calculate the slope over here. I'm going to use these numbers here. The slope is going to be 6 minus 4 on the top, and then going the same direction, 8 minus 4 on the bottom. So the slope on the top, you get 2, on the bottom you get 4, and you simplify this fraction to 1/2. So which one is bigger, 1/2 or 1/3? All right, the number 1/2 is bigger than 1/3, so actually this is the larger rate of change of these 2 functions here. So you might say, why are we doing this lesson, right? It's because, we already done this before. We know how to find the slope of an equation in slope-intercept form, right? We know how to find the slope from numbers in a table. We're just doing a different type of problem to give you practice with it, but also this is the kind of thing you might see on a standardized test or an exam as well. Give me two different lines in different forms and tell me which one has the greatest rate of change or the greatest slope or the smallest slope or whatever it is. So we're practicing pulling that info out and also comparing them. And we understand that whatever answer we circle actually has a steeper graph if we were to graph them, because higher rate of change, higher slope means steeper graph. So solve these, follow me on to the next lesson. We'll continue to build your skills. And here we're not going to be comparing their rate of changes or their slopes. We're going to be comparing which of these two functions has a larger value when x is allowed to equal 3 in this case. So we're not looking at overall the characteristics of the function. We only care about it at that point when x is equal to 3. Which of these is larger, this one or this one? All right? Now the way you figure that out is you have to figure out what f evaluated at 3 is. When x is equal to 3, then you have 3 plus 8, and then you get 11. Now, which one is larger when x is equal to 3? Here you get an output of 11, and here when x is equal to 3, you get an output of 2. Which one is bigger? Of course, it's this one, because that's all we care about here is which of the functions is larger. Which one has a larger value? Not the rate of change, not the slope. The actual value of the function when x is 3, here is 11. The value of this function when x is 3 is only 2. So that is the final answer. All right, let's take a look at problem number 2. Here we have a function and we have a table, which is a different function. Let's compare these functions when the input is allowed to equal -2. Which one has the greatest value at that moment? So we can evaluate when x is equal to -2. We'll say 2 times -2 for x means we'll have -4 here plus 1. And then we have -4 plus 1 is -3. So the output there is -3. But when x is equal to -2 in this table, the output is 11. So which of these two has a larger value? This one does over here. So actually, this function has a larger value when the input x is allowed to be -2. All right, let's take a look at problem number 3. We have a function here and a function in the table. Which one is larger when x, the value is allowed to be equal to 6? Well, first we have to calculate when x is equal to 6 here. We have 1/2 times 6 minus 3. 1/2 of 6 is 3, and then we have -3, and so the output here is actually 0. So the next step would be to figure out in this table what happens when the input is allowed to be 6. But I don't have a value when the input's at 6. So your first thought would be, well, there's a mistake. The table is wrong. It's not complete. But remember, we have enough information to write down the function from the information only in this table. We've done it many times before. We know it's a linear function. So we know that it has to be mx plus b. And we can find the slope from this table. The slope, we can use the top 2 points, 8 minus 3, and the bottom 2 points, 15 minus 10. So we get a 5 on the top and a 5 on the bottom, so the slope is equal to 1. So then we can take that slope and put it in here and say that the slope is 1 times x, so we have x plus b. Now to figure out what the function is, we have to pick a point and put it in here. The output is 3 when the input is 10. We've done these kinds of things before. Let's solve for the y-intercept. All right, we're going to subtract 10, so 3 minus 10 is equal to b. So b is equal to -7. Now all of that work was just to help us figure out what that function actually is. mx plus b, the slope is 1, times x plus b, which is -7. So the value we get for the function is x minus 7. And then what happens, we're trying to figure out what the value of that function is when x is equal to 6. So let's put the value of 6 in here. You get 6 minus 7, and so the output there is -1. The output you get is -1. So what we have figured out is that when we put a value of 6 for x into this function, we get 0. When we write down the line that goes through these points and then stick a value of 6 into the input, what we get is an output of -1. So which one is bigger, 0 or -1? Of course, 0 is actually bigger. So this function is the larger function when x is equal to 6. All right, kind of a long-winded kind of thing we have to do, but that's what we had to do. All right, we're going to have a similar situation here. Let's take a look when x is equal to -12. Means I have -1/3, and then I'm multiplying by -12. And so negative times negative is positive. 12 divided by 3 is 4 minus 2. So the output I get right there is actually 2. Now, I would like to figure out when x is equal to negative 12, what the output is, but I don't have a value of negative 12 here. I just have additional data points. So we need to find the equation of a line that goes through these points and then stick in the input when x is equal to negative 12. So we know that it's mx plus b. We know we can find the slope. 3 minus 2 on the output and 6 minus 3 on the input. We get a 1 on the top and a 3 on the bottom. So the slope is actually 1/3. Now what we do is we stick that slope in here and we say that the function is m, which is 1/3 x plus b. And then we can use any point we wish. We're going to use the first one here to find b. So the output is 2 when the input x is 3. And so what we get, 1/3 times 3 is just 1. And how do we find b? We subtract 1 from both sides. So b is equal to 1. The y-intercept is equal to 1. Now, why do we do all this stuff? Because now we can write down that second function, mx plus b. The slope is 1/3 times x plus b, which is 1. Now, what do we do with that information? We want to figure out what the value of this function when the input's negative 12. So we put a negative 12 on the input, 1/3 times negative 12. What do we get? 12 divided by 3 is 4, but we have this negative, so it's going to be negative 4 plus 1. And what do we get? We get negative 3 on the output. So comparing these two functions, when this function's input is going to negative 12, we get an output of 2. When this function goes to an input of negative 12, we get an output of negative 3. Which one is greater? This one is greater over here. So we're going to circle this one right here. And this is the larger value of the function, or the larger function of the two when x is equal to negative 12. So a slightly different flavor of problem. Instead of looking at the slopes, we're just trying to figure out which function has a larger value when the input is locked down to some value of x. In the first couple problems, it was easy because we could just look in the table to find the other value to compare it with. But then we realized we couldn't do that. So then we had to use previous skills to find an equation of a line that goes through these points and use that equation to predict based on that line where the value is, and then we can do the comparison there. So I'd like you to solve all of these yourself, then follow me on to our very last set of lessons, problems. We will continue to build your skills. Learn anything at mathandscience.com.